So for today's class, we have a quick lesson overview here before we jump into actual demo. We'll do a little bit of an introduction to Insights. We'll then just what Insights is about, general outlay, so on and so forth. We'll then jump into building a basic visualization report and a dashboard. Just very, very basic. How do I build a visualization? How do I take that visualization and build a report? And then how do I combine several reports into a dashboard, or several visualizations and reports into dashboards. Lesson 2, of course, will focus on the automating report distribution, which is, of course, what the key component of this particular class is. So once you have all these visualizations and reports and dashboards, all these things built, how do I take reports that I have built and automate when and to whom they go out on a regular rotating basis? That'll be lesson 2. And then, of course, with all of our Ask the Expert sessions, we have a Q&A session just afterwards. So we will have the opportunity to ask questions via the chat box, or if you have a more involved question, you can raise your hand, and I would be happy to unmute you individually so that we are able to have you ask those questions individually. Okay? So before we go ahead and get started, is there any questions about the agenda or what's going to be covered in this particular class today? All right, I'm not seeing anything in the chat box, so we're going to go ahead and jump right into it then. Let me go ahead and pull up my domain here. We'll go into my demo domain here. All right. So for Insights, Insight is an additional module that you, of course, would purchase, and it really takes the reporting capabilities that you have just off of like your basic reports, like your sales reports page, your opener reports page, your field ops, all of the reports pages, and it really kind of takes it to that next level, allowing you to do lots of visualizations and extra filtering and so on and so forth that you couldn't do with our basic reports. It also allows you quite a few extra pre-built dashboards that we're going to see in just a moment. Now, of course, to access it, you're going to use the module that says Insight, and of course, this is a very busy module-laden domain. We got everything on here. So it's in my More section under Insights. And when we go to Insights, it drops open our Insights. Now, each one of these, franchise development, finance, field ops, marketing, and franchisee engagement, all 5 of these have basic pre-built dashboards that you can just simply use. So if I go into my franchise development one, it's going to have a whole bunch of pre-built FranConnect reports and visualizations here that are geared towards franchise development. From here, of course, you can add specific visualizations because maybe you don't necessarily want the full-on. You want to maybe have one that has lead source or ROI and total leads closed by source on a separate dashboard. You can do that by just simply clicking on those 2, and then notice, of course, you have the ability to just go ahead and pull those prefabricated reports available to you, and notice that then, of course, you can change the layout, you can rename the tab, remove the tab, so on and so forth. These are all just simply prefabricated reports, meaning that these are just your basic reports, and obviously they're reports that we have built for you in the reports modules, or in the reports pages of all of your different areas. Okay. To go back to your home, just go to home here. So each one of those places has just prefabricated dashboards that you could use and create your own even privatized dashboards that will allow you to see exact specific information using pre-built reports that FranConnect has already built for you. Okay. Now that being said, what the main function of this particular class is making your own and being able to automate the distribution of those particular reports. Okay. So as you go in to make your own, notice I've got some folders. I've already got my items here, and of course I can put whatever I want in these my items here. I've built some prefabricated one of each. I've built a report here. I built a visualization here, and I built a dashboard here. Okay. So if we were to just simply take a look at these guys, here's my visualization that I built. I've got a couple of different graphs in there, and I've got a table in there. Okay, here is my actual report that I built. Notice, of course, I pulled in a title, a picture. I don't know why the panda. I guess I like pandas. I pulled in a visualization here, or I pulled in a chart in here. I pulled in the spreadsheet version of this, and I also pulled in another chart here, all into a report that I called Financials Weekly. And then I also built a dashboard, again, completely customized with two different tabs. The first tab shows my spreadsheet data with the pie chart, and the second tab shows the spreadsheet data with a bar chart sideways here. Okay, so how do we go about building each one of those? These custom built visualizations, reports, and dashboards. Well, the way that you do that is you start with the analyze and visualize. Okay, it says browse data and create visuals, including charts and tables. So that's where you got to start. We got to have something to put into a report and into our dashboards. So I'm going to do my analyze and visualize first. From here, I need to select what data I want to analyze. We have franchisees stats, Sky franchise operations, and Sky marketing. Most of the data that you're probably going to want to see is in Sky franchise operations. And then from there, of course, you have multiple selections of categories. Okay, from field ops, from finance, info manager, openers, sales, so on and so forth. Okay, so I'm going to just go ahead and go into, let's go with, let's do some finance stuff today. Let's do category sales. How about that? Now from there, of course, it's going to have various fields that it automatically pulls into there. The sales category, the franchisee, and the amount that was populated from the site, or the amount of the actual sale. Okay. You have the option to include all of those particular items, or maybe you don't necessarily care the franchise ID, and all you want is just the sales category and the amount. Okay. Notice, of course, that it changes it up a little bit for you here. Okay. Or we can just keep everything in there. But in order to select the fields that you want, you just simply check, 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 or uncheck, uncheck, uncheck. Okay. From here, we can filter the data. Maybe we want to only see the amount, any amount that was greater than $5,000. The other stuff wasn't important to us in this particular report. And now notice, of course, any of my sales amounts that were less than $5,000 drops off of our page. And instead of 28 pages, I got 13. You can add multiple filters in. Maybe I want to see the sales amount above 5,000, and I want to see only the sales categories that are equal to burrito combo. And notice now it filters my data again, and now I only have 2 pages because I see all of just my burrito combo sales. You also, which is a kind of a nice little feature here, you don't have to do an AND filter. That's one of the things that a lot of franchisees have been a little bit frustrated with our reporting module. You can actually change from AND to OR, so amount greater than 5,000 or sales category equal to burrito combo. And now notice, of course, we're going to get anything over 5,000 plus a couple of burrito combos that are under 5,000. Okay. And you can simply add, move them around. You can move them up, down, sideways, you know, that kind of business. So really can have the option to add quite a bit of options there. Okay. For the basic report building, I'm not going to go into formulas or cross-tabbing, but I will go into adding a chart. So now we've got our data that we want, and I want to go ahead and add a chart into this. I click on Add Chart, and it prefabricates what it thinks we might want, right? It says, all right, I want the label column to be our sales category, label over here, okay? Our data column to be the amount of sales for each one of these particular sales categories, okay? But of course, if you wanted to change things around, you could. You could go by franchise ID, or you could go by sales category here, okay? You also can show the direct values of the amounts. Notice when I pull in values, now next to each one, it shows you the total sales for each one of them right on the area there. You can change your bar orientation, or you can pick a different type of graph. Maybe you want to see a line graph. This one doesn't make as much of a sense, but pie chart might be a little bit more showing and telling for you here. Okay. And now you have your visualization of sum of amount by sales category. From here, of course, you have quite a bit of options to add to dashboards. You can change different names of things, so on and so forth within the settings here. Okay. But that's basically how you build a general visualization. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and save this one. This untitled analysis. I'm going to put down ATE visualization. Okay, and save this. And notice, of course, it renames it. And now in my particular folder, I have that visualization available for me to use in reports and dashboards going forward. Okay. So that's building a basic visualization. All right. Next, let's talk about designing a dashboard. If I wanted to design a dashboard, I simply click on Design a Dashboard. Now notice off to the right here, we have lots of different visualizations that I've already built. So I could pull in those particular visualizations if I chose. And I could say, you know what, I want to put in the add into that, and I want to put in my FLM demo here, and I want to actually have my distinct count of initial fee paid as well. Click, click, click. Click on Done. And now notice, of course, a dashboard is built for me, just like I was using in the other, when I was doing pre-built dashboards. Okay. And of course, from the dashboard, you can simply move things around, resize them. Maybe you don't like where that's at, so on and so forth, just like any of the other options that you have available to you. Okay. And that's built, and of course, we can rename it. Say ATE dashboard, and save. All right, now back to building a basic report so that we can actually automate the distribution of the report. So now we're going to take our analyzation and visualizations and design a report based on them so that we can schedule it, print it, and export it if we so choose. We click on Design Report, and of course we have lots of different areas over to the left here. We can add in split rows, we can add space, a visualization, a text, images, new link, PDFs. Really, the sky's the limit. So I'm just going to add a quick text in here, and I'm going to call it ATE report. And I could add in the date if I wanted to, or the time, the date and the time, whatever the case may be. I'll put in the date, and that way it's always the current date. And I could change the font size. Maybe I want to go 30 pixels. I could also change the color. Maybe I like blue. And maybe I want to put a border around it of 2 pixels. And now it enters in my data. You notice, of course, you're like, oh, wait a second, that's not quite centered. Maybe you should go back into that and adjust it. You can go in and you can say, I want that centered. And it'll recenter it for you. Okay. Maybe you want to put in a picture, an image. Drag in an image, and then you can either go by original size or fit to size. So I'm going to go with fit to size. And I'm going to put the alignment in the middle here. And I'm going to go ahead and upload an image. Notice that it does have some of images that I've uploaded previously. Or I can go to my desktop and upload various images and choose the path. And I'll do the Einstein one today. Again, we have border settings that we can play with. We can play with the backgrounds or the border coloring. So maybe I want to go with a red background or color picker color thickness here. And I'll just do I'll do with the 2 picks again, and I'll do it all the way around the picture again, and I'll set. And notice, of course, it'll pull in my picture with a red dark line around it. Notice, of course, I have the option to move things around as well. Do split rows, add space. And finally, let's go ahead and just pull in that visual. I want to put my visual down here below Mr. Angle here. Oops. Come on. There we go. I'll put it in. And notice, of course, I get to choose from all of the different visualizations I have again. And I'm going to go ahead and just pull in just a couple of different ones here into this particular report. And add those in. And it pulls those to the pie chart from one of my visualizations and the spreadsheet values as well. Okay. And then I'm just going to quickly rename this guy. And I'll say ATE demo report and save. So we've created a basic visualization. We've used some of our visualizations in a basic dashboard, a custom dashboard, and we've designed a report. Now notice, of course, next to this little guy right here, we've got a green schedule. Notice that if I hover over any report, I get the gray out clock. When I click on that guy, that's going to say, it's going to open up our scheduling menu. From here, of course, you have the option to say who you want this particular report going to, from, and to. We can put in the subject. Any message that we wanted to put. And then we can schedule how often we want to actually send this out. If it's a once-a-day thing, minutes, we want to send it on every minute. Then, of course, I have the option to do every 15, 20, 30 minutes, every hour, or on a set amount of hours, daily, weekly, on certain dates and times, or monthly on specific days of the month. This will automatically send this report, pull current data, and send this particular report whenever you decide you want to automate this particular report to go out. So for this particular report, I'm just going to say once, because to be 100% honest, I don't wish to get this, this particular email several times down the road. And I'm going to say I want to get it at a specific time today. I want to get it at, let's say I want to get it at 3 o'clock p.m. And, no, this is in 3 a.m. Let's not do 3 a.m. How about 1500? Okay, that's better. And then the date on this particular date, and I pick done. Okay, and now this one is scheduled to go out for us at that particular date and time. If we wanted to change it, of course, we just simply come in and adjust how we want to change it. And then this particular report that I've built will go out one time to this person at that date and time. And that's automating reports. So far what we covered was building a basic visualization, building a basic dashboard or a custom dashboard, building a report, and using the automation feature within Insights to schedule said distribution of that report. We've also chatted a little bit about the option to use the pre-built reports and dashboards in each one of these particular areas. At this particular time, I'm done with the actual curriculum going forward here. So we do have quite a bit of time. I usually try to leave about 30 minutes of time if there's any questions that you might have about how to automate reports or anything for that matter about Insights that you might want to ask about. So I'll open up the questions now. So if you have any questions, please either chat them in the chat box, or you're more than welcome to raise your hand, and I'd be happy to let you unmute your line and I could answer any questions that you might have. If you're going to go ahead and drop off, again, my name is Frank Menger. My email address is frank.menger@franconnect.com. I'd love to hear from you if you had any further questions or if you think of anything going forward. Thank you again for spending your time with me. I'll hold on the line for probably about 5 or 6 minutes to see if there's any questions, or until I see most of you guys dropping off. All right, we do have a question already. Good job. All right, it says, when you build and automate a report, can anyone on the team access and make changes, or who has control of the reports and their distribution? You have control over your particular reports. Okay, so when you go into your make your own, David asked, when you build and automate a report, can anyone on the team access and make changes? No, but you can, within the folders, add new folders and allow for access to those particular folders as well. Okay, but yeah, it's pretty much access to just by you. Okay. Rob says, thank you, Frank. I'm dropping off, but I'd also like to know about any automated reports. No problem, David. From the regular sales module. So automated reports from the regular sales module, that's not a possibility as of right now, Rob. You would use to automate those reports, you would pull in the sales information using your customized visualizations. Okay. I think I lost him before he answered this question. Oopsies. Hopefully he'll review the recording. All right. Allison says, with this dashboards, can you see those in the reports section of the sales module or only through Insights? Only through Insights, Allison. So I believe her question was, as you build these dashboards and you customize the dashboards within here, can you see them within the sales, the regular report section of the sales module? No, it's only through Insights at this time. Great question. No problem, Allison. Now there are similar reports also, Allison, in here that you can take a look at, but the actual dashboards that you pre-built are only available in Insights. Oh, David, is there a way to display these reports on any ongoing basis, i.e. Chromecast them in real time? So the way that you would do that is that you would automate, David, your report. So we'd go to Insights, and you would filter your particular reports that you built based on keeping the date fresh. Okay, so maybe you would go into your ATE demo report here, and you would make sure that, oops, not there, into your visualization, sorry about that. You'd go into your visualization, and you would allow for the filter to make sure that you put in a date filter, all right, if you were pulling in a date. And then you could always filter and make sure that it stayed current that way. Does that answer your question? Now, it will pull in the current data every single time it runs the report. So as of right now, this is the data, but next week this data may change based on what's in your actual system. Great question, David. All right, it seems like you guys have run out of questions. Again, most of you guys have dropped off, but thank you very much for taking the time to be with me today. I'll give it another minute, and then I'm going to go ahead and end the recording and end the session. Again, my name is Frank Menger. Appreciate your time today, especially on a Friday, especially late in the day for a lot of you guys. So have a wonderful day. Hope to see you on future ATEs. Oh, and we've got one more from Allison, it looks like. All right. Let's see here. Let me scroll down to it. Can you talk a little bit about using date as a variable? Example, if you want a report to show only 2017 data, how would you do that? So the way that I would do that is I would be pulling in a 2017 data. So for instance, I would pull in, let's just go to franchise operations, and let's pull in some date sensitive stuff like, I don't know, let's go into visits, field ops visits. Hopefully you have some data here. We'll see. And I would make sure that I ended up pulling in a date field of some sort, like this date, okay? And then what I would do is I would then create a filter for that particular date, and then I would have it be in a date range, and then I would also, of course, for this particular date range, I would do a sliding date, and then I would specify what kind of date range I was looking for. So if I was just looking for 2017 data, I would say this calendar year or something like that. Or last calendar. This, what, am I missing it? Come on. Not today, yesterday, last week, this week, next week, last quarter, here we go. It's got to be in there. This year start to a sliding date again, and I could say today, all right? And then it's just going to be constantly able to say, okay, from the beginning of this year to whatever today's date is, and then I add that filter, and boom, it's always going to filter this particular report. Now, in my test domain, I don't have any visits because it's a test domain and nobody's done any, but that is how I would pull in a date. Oh, perfect. Awesome. Okay. It's a little bit more of an advanced report building feature, but I'm glad you asked it, so I'm glad I was able to answer it, Allison. So yeah, that's how I would do that if I was trying to keep it fresh data in there. And yes, I think David, to answer your question, David, or response, very cool. I agree. I love the reporting features within Insight. So, any other questions, guys? This is the most questions I've had on an AT in a while, so I'm super excited that you guys are having them. Have I seen anything, David asks, have you seen anything really interesting being done out there? You know, because the Insights module is so brand new, I really haven't seen a lot of people dig into this. So we really don't have a lot of use cases for this just yet. As we see, you know, obviously it's brand new since just the most recent release. We only have just a couple of customers using it right now, but I'm sure as people start to use it, I'm going to see some really cool things. Yeah, David, as soon as we start to see some use cases, David says, can you send out learnings? Yeah, as soon as we start to see use cases, I'm gonna start building and compiling use cases and say, hey, this is what others are doing, and we'll send those out as well. But thank you very much for that. That's, yeah, as soon as people start giving me some use cases and saying, hey, can I use it like this, and I twink around with it, or somebody comes to me and says, hey, look at how cool this is, I will absolutely send those out to you guys, and or we may have another ATE on it. De nada. Little Espanol there, David. I live in the Southwest, so you don't survive in the Southwest without knowing a little Espanol, David. Very little. Nice. I took a couple years in college and worked in a few fast food places when I was a kid, David, so I know a little bit more than that. So Allison asks, would you recommend building only 1 or 2 charts per visual rather than trying to pull lots of data in and trying to pare down the information in each graph? Yeah, I would. So that's actually great. I would not be building more than 1 or 2 charts per visualization, but what's really nice about the visualizations is that you can pull various visualizations wherever and however you want. So you can pick and choose pieces. So it's not like you can only have 1 or 2 and have to use all of them in the same dashboard or in the same report that you build. You can build as many as you want. So to be honest, if I got my spreadsheet data down, I would probably use that spreadsheet data and then boom, 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 create as many charts as I think I could possibly use in every report and over every dashboard that I might use. Now, I've only come up with just a couple of different ways just because data in my mind lends itself to various charts. But yeah, you can build as many charts as you want within the same visualization and then just pick and choose within that chart what exactly you want to see. If that makes sense. Okay. Yes, it does. It allows you to really create as many graphs as you want. So notice, of course, as many charts as you want. In this particular demo here, in this visualization here, I actually have several charts in there. I got chart 1, I got chart 2, and my table here. And I create as many tables and charts as I want. I can add a chart, add more data, whatever I wanted to do. All right. Looking like we got most of you guys dropping off. Excellent, Allison. Thank you so much. When you get the little email from it, please rate accordingly then. I appreciate it. Have a wonderful day, Allison. Awesome sauce. David, thanks again, sir. You have a great weekend as well, my friends. All right, I'm going to stop the recording now as most of you guys have dropped off. Thank you again. Please don't hesitate to email at any given point in time. My email again is frank.menger@franconnect.com. Have a wonderful day and weekend.